What's up, everybody? This is Anthony Fallon, Tone Set of Sports. We back once again. Let's go. We're gonna be talking about some draft prospects that's coming up in this year's draft. Um, I have my draft book, my draft magazine, my Lindy's Pro Draft book magazine. I do this every year. I've been doing it for about the last 10 years or so. So I'm gonna make this one. I'm not gonna make this one too long. I'm gonna break this up into two. I'm gonna do offense, and then the following video, I'm gonna do defense. Because I tried to do it all at once, but I ran out of storage, memory storage. So to kind of cut down on my storage space, I'm going to break this down into two parts. So I'm going to do with some of the things. So I'm going to talk about what I think my Dallas Cowboys should be looking for, to just kind of add depth to the chart, but not only just add depth, but some quality depth to the chart, because we're not making any moves on the free agent market. So because we're up against the cap or whatnot, of course we can move we probably can shuffle some things around, but my pick for the free agency market would be obtaining Bryce Butler, bringing him back on the team because of the chemistry that him and Dak have shown over the last 2 years or so. So this is what I'm going to start. I'm going to start with the running back of my choice, that I think go wide receiver, and offensive tackles. And offensive line, but we know we need a tackle, at least a quality backup. Defense is going to be something totally different on the next one. So let's get to it. As far as running backs, I don't think Alfred Morris is coming back, and maybe they may have cut him already or released him already. I appreciate you, Alfred, because you did good, but they just didn't use you right. In my opinion. So, but since we have Ezekiel and we have Rod Smith, and Rod Smith proved his value last year, catching the ball out of the backfield, making some splash runs too. So we need that small back. We need that scat back, that lightning back, that's shifty, open, that can really make you miss in open space. So my main sleeper for the running backs is Miami running back Mark Walton Jr. And he's like 5'9", 205. In that 4.4, 4.3 range, in the 40 most likely. But if you ever watch Miami games last year or this past season, he can make you miss, make you look real stupid. He got them those what was that dude named for Kansas City, Dante something, yeah, they call him the human joystick. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not as shifty as he is in tight space and stuff, but he can make you miss and have you having tacklers or defense looking stupid. So I think he's a sleeper because I think he probably would move up in the draft. He's more of a specialist type. As I know it, he might can run through the tackles or whatnot. That's what I'm saying. He's our sleeper. He could be a sleeper for us because he might end up being the gym and not just being on screens and throwing out of the backfield, third down back that can make you miss in open space. So he could be special, and he's like a mid to late round pick. They got between 4th and 5th on the Lindy's magazine, but he could drop, or someone find talent, see something in him. He could go up to at least the 3rd. I don't think he'll reach the 2nd, but he could move up in the mid-3rd round, something like that. But that's definitely someone worthy of keeping an eye on. my other running back. He's kind of off the radar because he's last season he was from a small school. Um, but these guys do put up some players from here every now and then. That's Jacksonville State. That's Rock Thomas, 5'10", 193, and another shifty back, small back, that can get it done. Utility back, he has some good quality. I really like his stats. And matter of fact, he was a former Auburn back, so the talent is there. If Auburn wanted him, but it's plenty of talent at Auburn. You gotta. I don't blame guys from either going to another college. I mean, why even do that? I mean, especially for running backs, the best thing to do is start as a freshman. You know what I'm saying? But last year at Jacksonville State, he had 1,065 yards in rushing last season. So someone else to keep an eye on, as far as a third down back, or whatnot. So the meat and taters is all about the receiving core, because I already said I would rather have Bryce Butler instead of drafting the rookie. But just in case they don't sign Bryce Butler during this free agent market, during this during this time period of free agency, we're gonna take a look at some of the wide receivers, and I like all of the top receivers that they have. I like Ridley. And here they got Christian Kirk from Texas A&M as the number 2 receiver on the list. Cortland Sutton from SMU. Yes, I do like him, but that's another Dez Bryant. We already got Noah Brown, so we don't need another big body. If we're gonna get a big body, he's gonna be between 6 foot and 6'3", and but he's gonna be able to run 4.4, 4.3 ish, something like that. And here they don't have Calvin Ridley running. They got him running a 4.5, but we know what the level of competition in the school that he come from. So that's another thing. And so also as Christian Kirk from Texas A&M, he's in the SEC, so as well. He's 5'11", 200. They claim he runs running about a 4.3. So that's something worth looking at as far as just looking at his statistics. Now let me correct something about this Lindy Sports magazine, that the 40 times may not be right. They may be spot on, or these players could be a lot faster than what recorded. But I know Cortland Sutton's 40 time is about right. They got him at a 4.5, 4.58. You know what I'm saying? Big back, physical back, red zone threat. Put up some huge numbers at SMU. Now that's the thing I want to get to, but not just yet. The ones that's really on my list is because they have been producing wide receivers when they had lack of quarterback play. Is Darryl Chalk from LSU. Now, because Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry turned out to be better than what they perceive in college, is because LSU never have a good quarterback. I don't know what's up with that. As much as good as they can recruit, they cannot recruit quarterbacks, or they never pan out to what they're supposed to be. It's Chalk, and that's 6'3", 190, running about a 4.3. That's what I'm talking about. If we don't get Bryce Butler back, he's the closest thing as far as Bryce Butler size. Bryce Butler might be a little might weigh a little more. He's about 220 and runs a 4.3. But we know LSU has some sleeper wide receivers, so definitely worth checking out. Anthony Miller, I don't think we're gonna get him, but he's like a Steve Smith, just like Christian Kirk. That 5'11", 190 to 200 something pounds, but good route runner, and you can always use route runners. I don't know about his speed. I can't remember seeing his speed at the where he actually checked in at the combine or whatnot. I didn't see him. Another one that's a sleeper, more like that Steve Smith build, that's 5'10", 5'10", 215. They got him listed at running a 4.5. DJ Moore out of Maryland, and you know how Stephen Diggs was a sleeper. He got drafted in the 5th round about 2 or 3 years ago. And this guy, what really caught my eye about DJ Moore is because he's the only player that holds the record of having 1,000 yards receiving without their quarterback or any quarterback on the team throwing for 1,500 yards. So I think he's a lot faster and a lot more shiftier than 4.5. You know what I'm saying? He might be more shifty than fast, than straight line speed. So, but I think that's noteworthy. And the last football player that did that on the FBS level was Hakeem Nicks. So, 1,000 yards receiving without a quarterback on the team throwing for 1,500 yards. That's crazy. That's crazy. Another school that's been putting out some wide receivers here lately for the last 3 years or so. Deion Kane from Clemson, 6'1", 190. They got him running a 4.4 range here on the Lindy's magazine. And need I say more? Mike Williams, DeAndre Hopkins, Sammy Watkins, and now you got Deion Kane coming out of Clemson. So definitely noteworthy level of competition. Just about every game, ACC, SEC, the championships. So you know he's been battle tested, on the college level. So he's another one worth checking out. I'm just gonna say his name, but he's a bit raw too, because of the lack of quarterback play. But he could be a surprise. Equanimous St. Brown from Notre Dame, 6'4", 205, and actually he ran like a 4.3 at the combine. I remember seeing him at the combine running. He ran like between the 4.3 and the 4.5. They got him at 4.5, something like that. And you could never see his production, even though he was the number one receiver at Notre Dame. But the quarterback play sucked. Just simple as that. So he could be a worthy prospect, because Dez just needs someone that can open up the field, man. For everything from him underneath him, Cole Beasley and Terrence Williams. So, but Cowboys need to be drafting not a number 2 wide receiver. That's the problem. Is they looking for a number 2. Draft the number 1 and put him number 2. As a matter of fact, all the wide receivers need to know X, Y, and Z, to be honest with you. All of them. But this is my sleeper. This right here is my sleeper, and he's in the backyard of Dallas. And that is no other than Trey Quinn, SMU. 600, I said 600. 6 foot, 202 pounds, runs a 4.9. He was the national high school. He holds the national high school history record in receiving, pass catching. He had 6,566 yards with 70 touchdowns in the state of Louisiana. But he was also a track star. He played in the Little League World Series. He made it on the 5A level in the 100-yard dash, and in the Louisiana State Finals twice. At SMU, his breakout year was 2017. He had 114 receptions for 1,236 yards, alongside stud Cortland Sutton. So they really work with each other. So therefore, he's in that, you want to say, complimentary. Sit down. God, that damn puppy, man. It's just into every damn thing. But anyway. But yeah, like I said, 1,200 yards, 114 yards reception. So he can catch. Regardless of the level of competition, I know he played for SMU, but they played who they had to play. You can say what you want, but to me, it's either in you or it's not. You know what I'm saying? So that's gonna have to be found out in all of these rookie prospects. But he put up some numbers alongside Cortland Sutton. So they played who they had to play, and they dominated. They dominated in their position whoever they played. So that's my sleeper wide receiver. And Cowboys really somebody send this to. They need to be watching this because I've been doing my list every year and posting it on the website. Of potential prospects. From big colleges to small colleges. So definitely Trey Quinn. Everybody keep that eye. Listen out for that name. So let's go to tackles. And funny thing is they got in on here in this magazine they got tight Cowboys looking for a tight end in the second round. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's some tight ends coming out. There are some type, but we got Rico Gathers. You got Gavin Escobar. I think that's his name. That has speed. That needs to. That is. It's just the fact that Jason Witten is in the way. I know he's the Hall of Famer and all of that stuff, but he is getting old, and you need to give these guys some more playing time. How can you get better? How can you practice the craft by just being on the practice squad or the second team and stuff, and you're not getting the quality reps? But anyway, let's go to tackles. Offensive tackles. Now we could spend the first round pick on a tackle, but I don't see why we would do that with Ty when we still had Tyron Smith. And we had Collins as left guard. He was kicked over to right tackle, so that's a growing position for him. He probably be better at it this year, and we probably gonna have to fill in for the left guard if they don't fill in with whoever like Chaz Green or whoever. And that shit wasn't all his fault last year with that 6-sack recording by Claiborne from Atlanta and stuff. So my tackles are not in the top, are not like the first 2 rounds that I got my eye on. Although they could, what I'm saying, like Martinez Rankins from Mississippi State, he's 305, 6'5", first or second round and stuff. That could be someone they look at. And that's the range that I'm looking for, that 305. But you got to have height. You got to be, no shorter than 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", and be able to move with the in that. Oh my gosh. In that fight, as far as the 40 time 5-0, sub 5-0, something like that. But that really don't matter either, as long as they have good acceleration, within that 10 yards, fuck the 40. But also agile and got good nimble feet. So in the second round, I like Tyrell Crosby from Oregon. Pretty solid tackle, but of course he has to be groomed as well. That's what we're looking for. His weakness is pass blocking. Because of his pad level or whatnot, he can be caught out of position. But oh well. That happens to the best of them at times. But we're not looking for a starter. We're just looking for a solid backup. My sleeper right now is Brian O'Neill from Pittsburgh, because he was a tight end and he switched over to tackle, and he's 6'5", 305, so 504 in the 40. I like it because he's used to having nimble feet, being light on his feet, playing as a tight end coming out of high school, and was really a tight end coming on to Pittsburgh and stuff. But he's flexible too, so he can play outside or in, And that's really what I'm looking for. That's why I say offensive line, is because Often, just like I like my wide receivers to know XYZ, I would rather for my offensive line to know every last the guard, center, tackle position. So, and just in case we got to fill in holes, because you get hit with that injury bug, man. You see what happened last year, and we just got hit with the starters on the injury bug, and look where it got us. Another sleeper right here he's in the third, fourth round, small school, Humboldt State, Alex Kapka. He's another flexible tackle that can play in or out. But he's 6'6", 305. Don't like his 40 time. It's 5.20. It's 5.27. But still, like I said, what his burst was acceleration from 10 yards. He's and I like them small states because remember we got a Hall of Famer from one of them small states, one of the small schools, Division II, because he dominated in Division II, and he also showed flashes of that dominance in the Senior Bowl as well. So definitely had to keep an eye on him. But we had Larry Allen. He came from a small school. You know, just to mention one of them. So those small schools, they got that chip on their shoulder. They got a lot to prove. Okay, now I'm going to also add to my the tackle position because that's something we definitely need. But also, I'm going to go to center, is because these guys can play center or tackle because they made the transition within while they was at their alma maters. That's Mason Cole. Good pass blocker, play tackle, moved to center for Michigan. He's 6'4", 303, 5'14" in the 40. I think he's someone that we should definitely take a look at. Very good pass blocker. He might need to work on his run blocking and stuff like that. But everybody got a weakness somewhere, and they can build that up. Because we should be having a whole staple full of offensive linemen. Once we solidified that offensive line, I was putting on there the year after, like, hey, draft one or two offensive linemen that could just plug in anywhere. Another one, just because of the level of competition, the school, so he's battle tested as well. Bradley Bozeman from Alabama. And he's another pro style. He comes out of a pro style offense or whatnot. So definitely competition on a daily basis, not only within the conference but on the team as well. So he was a team captain or whatnot. He is top heavy, but he can be thrown off balance or whatnot. But still, I think the Cowboys can work with him. I think we can work with him. He's someone that can plug in probably more fit the three inner spots, guard, the two guard spots in the center. So that's all I really have right now with you guys. And like I said, the next video coming up is going to be about the defense. But definitely my main prospects right now is Mark Walton Jr., Trey Quinn, wide receiver, Darrell Chalk, LSU wide receiver, Deion Kane, Clemson wide receiver, DJ Moore, Maryland wide receiver, Brian O'Neill, Pittsburgh, left tackle, Mason Cole. He's really center, but can play left tackle too. And Bradley Bozeman, that's another flexible flex, probably more suited for the guard center position. But they are my sleepers. Also Rock Thomas too, Jacksonville State, running back. So that's it for my offense. I'm going to look up some more. I'm going to do some more studying. Going to check out some of these guys that are not in this magazine that might be worth taking a look at as well. But this is Anthony Fallon, Tone Setter Sports. Peace. I'm out.